How many times have you unlocked your phone in the last hour? I know it is sitting right there on the nightstand. Or maybe it is already in your hand, casting that pale blue light across your face. You tell yourself you are just checking the time, but your thumb instinctively drifts to the email app. You are refreshing the inbox, waiting for a message that probably won't come at 2 a.m., but your brain won't let you rest until you check. Is there an update? Did the boss reply? Is there a meeting added to my calendar for tomorrow morning? The silence of the house feels heavy, but the noise inside your head is deafening. Maybe earlier today, you were scrolling through LinkedIn. You saw the posts. The open to work, green banners wrapping around the profile pictures of people you know. People who are talented, smart, and hardworking. You read their stories about being let go after 10 years of service, about restructuring, about position eliminations. And as you read their words, a cold shiver went down your spine. It wasn't just sympathy for them. It was a terrifying realization for yourself. You thought, if it happened to them, what makes me safe? Am I next? The question has been echoing in your mind ever since you turned off the lights. You replay the events of the workday like a forensic analyst looking for clues. You think about that awkward silence in the Zoom meeting when you asked a question about the budget. You analyze the look on your manager's face when she passed you in the hallway. Was she avoiding eye contact? Was that a sign? You think about the rumors whispered near the coffee machine, the speculation about quarterly earnings, the sudden freeze on hiring. Every little detail feels like a warning signal that you are trying to decode before it's too late. Notice what this fear is doing to your body right now. You might feel a distinct tightness in the center of your chest, like a heavy stone is sitting right on top of your sternum, making every breath feel shallow and labored. Your stomach might be churning, a knot of acid that refuses to settle. Pay attention to your hands. Are you gripping the sheets, or maybe your phone? Your body is in fight or flight mode, lying in a soft bed but prepared for a battle. You are exhausted. Your eyes are burning with fatigue, but your nervous system is vibrating with adrenaline, waiting for the other shoe to drop. You feel exposed, vulnerable, and deeply alone in this anxiety. Hello, child of God. Welcome to this gentle place of refuge. I know the weight of that unread email. I know the crushing pressure of the what-ifs that are crowding your mind. I know how exhausting it is to carry the burden of being the provider, the one who has to keep it all together when the world feels like it is falling apart. But here, in this quiet moment, you do not need to be strong. You do not need to have a backup plan. You do not need to polish your resume or prove your worth to anyone. You are safe here. We are going to close the door on the office, turn off the screens, and step into a sanctuary where your value is not measured by your productivity. Let's take a moment to gently convince your body that the danger is not in this room. You have been bracing for a blow all day, holding your muscles tight as if that tension could protect you from bad news. But it only exhausts you. I want you to bring your attention to your jaw. You have probably been clenching your teeth without even realizing it, locking away the stress. Gently, let your jaw drop. Create a soft space between your upper and lower teeth. Let your tongue rest on the floor of your mouth. Now, move your focus to your shoulders. They have creeped up toward your ears, carrying the invisible weight of your career, your bills, and your reputation. On the count of 3, I want you to exhale and let them drop completely. 1, 2, 3, let them fall. Feel the distance between your earlobes and your shoulders grow. Let your hands soften. Open your palms upward. This is a posture of release. You are saying, I am not holding on to control anymore tonight. We need to speak honestly about the fear that brought you here. It is not just about losing a paycheck, although that is frightening enough. It is the specific nightmare of the worst-case scenario. It is the image playing in your head of walking out of your office building with a cardboard box while security watches you. It is the terrifying thought of having to come home and look your spouse or your children in the eye and say, I lost it. I lost the job. It is the fear of failure. The fear that maybe you aren't good enough. The fear that you will lose the house, lose your stability, and lose your standing in the world. This anxiety whispers that you are only as valuable as your last performance review. It tells you that if you lose this title, you become nobody. It strips away your dignity and replaces it with shame. But I want you to know that this fear is a liar. The uncertainty of the economy is real. Yes. The layoffs are real. Yes. But the idea that your worth is tied to a company payroll is a lie. Tonight, we are going to walk through this valley of shadows together. We are going to look at these fears, not to let them consume us, but to hand them over to the one who promised to supply all your needs. Not according to the stock market, but according to his riches and glory. You are not a number on a spreadsheet. You are a beloved child, and you are held by hands that never let go. Now that your body has begun to soften, even just a little, we can gently turn our attention to the heart. We need to talk about the person you have to be during the day and the person you are allowed to be right now. There is a vast distance between the two, isn't there? During the daylight hours, especially in this season of uncertainty, you have to wear a heavy suit of armor. You wake up, you put on your professional face, and you step into the arena. You walk into the office, or you log on to that virtual meeting, and you become the strong one. You project confidence because you feel you have to. You smile when you want to scream. You nod agreeably during strategy meetings while your mind is racing with panic. You answer questions with certainty, even when you feel completely lost inside. You feel this immense pressure to demonstrate your value constantly. But look at me. Your actions say, I am essential. I am productive. I am worth keeping. You take on extra projects even though you are already drowning, just to show you are a team player. You hide your anxiety behind a mask of competence, terrified that if you show even a crack of weakness, it will be the excuse they need to let you go. It is an exhausting performance, isn't it? It drains the very life out of you. It requires so much energy to keep that mask in place, to keep the smile fixed, to keep the tone of your voice steady when your insides are trembling. But now, the sun has gone down. The laptop is closed. The emails have stopped coming for a few hours. And here, in the safety of the shadows, the mask can finally fall off. There is no one here to impress. There is no manager evaluating your performance. There is no HR representative taking notes on your attitude. Here, in the quiet, the strong one crumbles, and the truth of your heart spills out. And the truth is, you are scared. You are not just worried, you are deeply, profoundly afraid. And that is okay. I want to acknowledge the specific shadow that creeps in when the lights go out. It is the shadow of imposter syndrome, amplified by the threat of job loss. In the silence of 3 a.m., a cruel voice starts to whisper in your ear. It says, "You were just lucky to get this far. It says, they are finally going to find out that you don't know what you're doing. It tells you that you are a fraud, and that this potential layoff is just the world finally catching on to your inadequacy. It is a painful, stinging lie, but it feels so real in the dark. You start to question your own history. You look back at your successes and you minimize them. That was just timing. You think that was just a fluke. You look at your failures and you magnify them until they block out the sun. I made that mistake 3 years ago. Surely they remember. Surely that is on my file. This shadow tells you that you are easily replaceable. It tells you that if you disappear from that company tomorrow, the waters will close over your spot and no one will even notice a ripple. That is a terrifying feeling. The feeling of insignificance. It makes you feel small, like a child lost in a crowd, waiting for someone to come and find you, but fearing that everyone is too busy to care. And then there is the shadow of the burden. This is the weight carried by those who have people depending on them. If you are a parent or a spouse or a caregiver, this shadow is particularly heavy. You look at your family, sleeping peacefully in other rooms, and your heart clenches. You see their innocence. You see their trust in you. They trust that the fridge will have food next week. They trust that the heat will stay on. They trust that their life will remain stable. And you feel like a fraud because you know how fragile that stability really is right now. You carry the secret terror of letting them down. The thought of having to tell them that things are changing, that things might get hard, makes you feel physically ill. You take all that responsibility and you place it squarely on your own shoulders. You tell yourself, it is all up to me. If I fail, we all fall. That is too much weight for any human being to carry. Atlas was a myth. You were not designed to hold up the sky. But in the shadow of the night, it feels like you must. Do you ever wonder if anyone truly sees you? Not the employee version of you. Not the director of operations or the senior analyst. But you. The you that hurts. The you that is tired of climbing ladders. The you that just wants to rest. Do you wonder if God sees that version of you? Or do you fear that maybe even God is looking at your performance? Sometimes we project our corporate culture onto heaven. We think God is like a celestial CEO. We think He loves us more when we are blessed and successful, and that He is disappointed in us when we are struggling or unemployed. We think, if I lose this job, it must mean God is punishing me. It must mean I didn't pray enough, or tithe enough, or have enough faith. We fear that a layoff is a sign of His absence, or worse, His disapproval. So we try to perform for God too. We try to pray the right strong prayers. We try to suppress our anger and our fear because we think good Christians shouldn't be anxious. And so, you end up alone, hiding from your boss, hiding from your family, and hiding from God. Trapped in a prison of your own making, holding up the walls with trembling hands. But I want to tell you something that might surprise you. You are safest when the walls come down. You are closest to God, not when you are standing tall in the boardroom, but when you are weeping in your bedroom. The Bible tells us that the Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. He is not looking for the version of you that has it all together. He is not impressed by your LinkedIn profile. He is deeply in love with the you that is hiding in the shadows right now. He sees the fear you are ashamed to admit. He hears the thoughts you are terrified to speak out loud, and he does not turn away. He draws near. Think about that for a moment. The creator of the universe, the one who hung the stars in the sky, is currently sitting by your bedside. He sees the tears pricking behind your eyelids. He feels the knot of anxiety in your stomach. And he is not checking his watch, waiting for you to get over it. He is waiting for you to stop pretending. He is waiting for you to hand him the mask. It is heavy, isn't it? That mask of "I'm fine." It is made of lead. What would happen if you just put it down? Right now, just for tonight, what if you admitted, "God, I am terrified. I feel like I am losing control. I don't know what is going to happen, and I don't know if I have the strength to handle it." There is such power in that confession. It is the beginning of freedom. Because you cannot be healed of a wound you refuse to acknowledge. You cannot be comforted for a pain you are pretending doesn't exist. Tonight, the shadow is not your enemy. The shadow is simply the place where you get to be real. It is the place where the pretense ends and the intimacy begins. So let the tears come if they need to. Let the sigh escape your lips. Let the strong one clock out for the night. You are allowed to be small here. You are allowed to be weak here. Because his strength is made perfect in your weakness. You do not have to carry the world tonight. You just have to let yourself be held. We have reached a sacred place in our journey tonight. It is the place where the road ends, and you realize you cannot take another step on your own strength. For weeks, or maybe even months, you have been holding back a flood. You have been the dam, standing tall against the rising waters of anxiety about your job, your finances, and your future. You have told yourself, "I must stay strong. I must keep it together. If I crack, everything will be washed away." But tonight, in the safety of this room, I want to tell you something that might feel frightening, but is actually the doorway to peace. It is okay to break. It is okay to let the dam crumble. It is okay to admit that you have reached your limit. There is a beautiful, terrible sound when a heart finally breaks open before God. It is not the sound of defeat. It is the sound of surrender. And surrender is the only way to survive this storm without drowning. You see, we are taught by the world that breaking points are bad. In the corporate world, a breaking point is a liability. It is seen as burnout or inability to cope. So we hide it. We push it down. We swallow the panic and smile through the meetings. But in the kingdom of God, the breaking point is the beginning of the miracle. It is the moment when you finally stop trying to be God of your own life. It is the moment when you look at the scattered pieces of your plans, your career trajectory, your 5-year goals, and you say, "Lord, I cannot fix this. I cannot control this." And in that precise moment of helplessness, God is able to move in a way he never could while you were still gripping the wheel. I want you to imagine a glass of water that is full to the brim. That is you right now. You are filled with worry, with calculations, with scenarios of what might go wrong. You are so full of self-reliance that there is no room for God's grace to enter. When we break, when we spill out all that fear and control, we create space. We create a hollow place where the Holy Spirit can finally pour in. So, let us stay in this brokenness for a moment. Do not rush to patch yourself up, must. Do not rush to find a solution or a plan B. Just sit amidst the shards of your illusion of control. It feels vulnerable, I know. It feels like you are naked in the cold. But notice something else. Notice the silence. When you stop fighting, when you stop striving, the noise dies down. And in that silence, you are not alone. God is not repelled by your brokenness. He is magnetically drawn to it. Psalm 51 tells us that the sacrifice you desire is a broken spirit. You will not reject a broken and repentant heart. Oh God, He is not standing over you with a performance improvement plan. He is kneeling beside you, ready to gather you up. He knows the terror of the unknown that you are facing. He knows the sting of rejection that comes with a layoff. He knows the shame of feeling like you have failed your family. And He is here to tell you that your brokenness is safe with Him. Now, I want to extend a gentle invitation to you. We are going to do something together. An act of release. In the midst of layoffs and corporate restructuring, the worst feeling is the feeling of being invisible. You feel like a line item, a statistic, a cost to be cut. You feel like your name doesn't matter, that it can be deleted from the system with a single keystroke. But I want to remind you that your name is written in a book that cannot be edited or deleted. Your name is carved into the palms of His hands. So, in this safe quietness, I want to invite you to do something. If you are lying there in the dark, I want you to gently whisper your own name to Jesus. Just say it softly. Jesus, I am your name, and I am here. Say it again. Claim your identity as His child, not as an employee. And if you feel a heaviness that is too much to carry alone, I invite you to leave a mark of your release here with us. If you are able, or perhaps later when you wake, type your name in the comments below. Or simply type, I am His. This is not for the algorithm. This is an act of spiritual defiance against the fear of anonymity. It is a way of saying, I exist, I matter, and I am not walking this path alone. When you see others typing their names, know that they are your brothers and sisters in this trench. They are the ones staring at the ceiling at 2 a.m. just like you. They are the ones worried about the mortgage just like you. We are a family here. And when you type your name, imagine thousands of us gathering around you, placing our hands on your shoulders and lifting you up in prayer. You are not fighting this battle in isolation. You are part of a vast, invisible army of souls who are learning to trust God in the dark. Feel the warmth of that connection. You don't have to carry the burden of the provider all by yourself tonight. We are helping you hold it. And more importantly, He is holding us all. Let that truth settle into your bones. You are known. You are seen. You are loved beyond measure. The job may change. The title may disappear. The company may crumble. But your place in this family, and your place in His heart, is secure forever. So take a deep breath. The kind of breath that comes after a good cry. The kind of breath that says, the worst is out. I am broken, but I am still here. And as you breathe, feel the atmosphere in the room shift. The heavy, suffocating pressure of anxiety is starting to lift. Just a fraction. It is being replaced by a strange, quiet comfort. This is the beginning of the peace that passes understanding. It doesn't make sense that you should feel peace right now, with everything so uncertain. But that is why it is called a miracle. We have walked through the valley of the shadow. We have faced the fear of the unknown. We have admitted our weakness. Now, we are ready to look into the mirror. We are ready to see that you are not the first person to stand on the edge of a cliff, wondering how you will survive. There were others before you. Great men and women who lost everything, only to find that they had gained something far greater. Let us turn our eyes to them now and see your story reflected in theirs. We have arrived at a quiet intersection in the night. It is the place where your deepest fears collide with the oldest truths. Right now, there is a war going on inside your mind. It is a silent war, but it is violent. On one side, there is the loud, crashing reality of your circumstances. The reality of the layoffs. The reality of the bills on the counter. The reality of that open-to-work banner you're afraid you might have to use. And on the other side, there is the quiet, steady voice of God. For most of the day, the noise of the fear drowns out the voice of the truth. But here, in the stillness, we are going to let them collide gently. We are going to hold up the lies you have been believing against the light of who God really is. Let's be honest about the lie first. It is a lie that grows very strong when we are threatened with job loss. It is the lie that says, God is punishing me. Or perhaps, God has forgotten me. When we see the email about restructuring, or when the client cancels the contract, our hearts instinctively sink. We think, what did I do wrong? Why is God allowing this protection to be stripped away? Is He angry with me? We tend to project our corporate trauma onto our Heavenly Father. We treat God like a cosmic CEO. In the corporate world, everything is transactional. You perform well, you get a bonus. You miss your targets, you get a warning. You provide value, you get to stay. You stop being useful, you are escorted out of the building. It is a cold, hard system of merit and reward. And because we spend so much time in that system, we start to think the kingdom of God works the same way. We think God's love is a salary we have to earn. We think His provision is a performance bonus for being a good Christian. So when the job becomes shaky, we panic. We think we have been fired by God. We think our spiritual performance review has come back negative. But tonight, I want to gently shatter that lie. God is not a CEO. He is a father. And you are not His employee. You are His child. There is a universe of difference between an employee and a child. An employee is valued for what they produce. A child is valued for who they are. An employee can be replaced. A child is irreplaceable. If you lose your job, your company will have a job posting up by next week. They will find someone else to sit in your chair and type on your keyboard. But in God's house, no one can take your place. If you are struggling, He does not look at you and think about downsizing. He looks at you and thinks about comforting. The Apostle Paul knew this distinction intimately. When he wrote to the Philippians, he wasn't sitting in a corner office with a secured pension. He was in chains. He had no income. He had no freedom. He was entirely dependent on the charity of others and the grace of God. And yet, he wrote these audacious words. And this same God who takes care of me will supply all your needs from His glorious riches, which have been given to us in Christ Jesus. Philippians 4:19, NLT. Notice he didn't say, God will give you a job. He didn't say, God will make you wealthy. He said God will supply all your needs. Sometimes, what we think we need is a guarantee of employment. But what we truly need is a guarantee of presence. The lie tells you that your security is in the paycheck. The truth tells you that the paycheck is just one method God uses, but it is not the source. The source is the Lord Himself. If the faucet is turned off, the river is still flowing. The company may stop signing the checks, but God does not stop pouring out His grace. I want you to visualize this shift in perspective. Imagine your life is a garden. For a long time, you have been watering this garden with a watering can. That watering can is your job. You have to walk back and forth, filling it up, carrying the heavy weight, pouring it out carefully. If the well runs dry, or if the can breaks, you panic. My garden will die, you scream. I have no water. But God is trying to show you that your garden is actually planted right next to a mighty river. He is saying, put down the watering can. Child, your little plastic container was never keeping you alive. My river has been feeding the roots underground the whole time. His love is not a reward you have to hustle for. It is a current that is always flowing toward you. Even when you feel unworthy, even when you feel like a failure because you didn't get that promotion, even when you feel shame because you were let go, the river does not stop. It flows over your mistakes. It flows over your anxiety. It flows into the cracked, dry places of your heart where the fear has taken root. You do not have to perform to get this love. You just have to step into it. You just have to stop running on the treadmill of anxiety and let the water carry you. This is the gentle collision. The collision between the world's economy of scarcity and God's economy of abundance. The world says, there are not enough jobs. You have to fight for your spot. God says, I own the cattle on 1,000 hills. I can set a table for you in the presence of your enemies. The world says, you are what you earn. God says, you are what I paid for, and I paid for you with the life of my Son. That is how much you are worth. Not your hourly rate, not your annual salary, but the precious blood of Christ. So, if the worst happens, if the email comes, if the steady ground of your career gives way, you will not fall into an abyss. You will fall into the hands of the living God. And those hands are strong enough to catch you. They are the same hands that fed 5,000 people with a few loaves and fish. Do you think your mortgage is too hard for Him? Do you think your grocery bill surprises Him? He knows the number of hairs on your head. Surely He knows the number of dollars in your bank account. The fear you feel is natural. It is a human reaction to a threat. But tonight, we are exposing that fear to the light. We are taking the scary monster of unemployment and realizing that while it can bite, it cannot devour. Because you belong to a kingdom that cannot be shaken. You have a Father who does not slumber or sleep. And He has promised, I will never fail you. I will never abandon you. Hebrews 13:5 NLT. That is a contract that no recession can cancel. That is a covenant that no HR department can terminate. Rest in that truth for a moment. Let the reality of His commitment to you settle over your anxious mind like a warm blanket. You are not alone in the storm. The captain is on board, and he has weathered much bigger storms than this one. Now, to help you truly see this, I want to take you back in time. I want to take you out of your bedroom and into a scene from the Bible. We are going to visit a man who knew what it was like to lose everything, to be hunted, and to feel completely insecure. We are going to see how God met him in his darkest cave. Let's go there together. I want you to close your eyes for a moment. Let the four walls of your bedroom fade away. Let the glow of the streetlights outside your window dissolve. We are going on a journey across time and sand. We are traveling to a place of dry heat and deep silence. Imagine you are sitting on a dusty bank of a ravine. The air is hot and still. The ground beneath you is cracked and thirsty, parched by a relentless drought. Sitting next to you is a man. His clothes are rough, made of camel hair. His face is weathered by the sun, and his eyes are scanning the horizon with a mixture of hope and desperation. This is Elijah. We often think of Elijah as a giant of faith, a superhero who called down fire from heaven. But right now, in this moment, he is just a man who is unemployed, homeless, and hiding for his life. God has called him out of his normal life, away from his community, and sent him into isolation. He is hiding by the brook Kerith, east of the Jordan River. There is no economy here. There are no markets, no fields to harvest, no salary to earn. He has absolutely no way to provide for himself. By all human standards, he should starve. I want you to sit with him there and feel what he must have felt. Every morning, he wakes up with a hunger in his belly. He looks at the empty sky. He has no pantry, no savings, no plan B. But then, he hears a sound in the distance. The flapping of wings. Black shapes against the blue sky. Ravens. Now, you must understand. Ravens are scavengers. In that culture, they were considered unclean birds. They were the last creatures you would expect to bring room service. And yet, here they come, swooping down, dropping bread and meat at Elijah's feet. Every morning and every evening. God didn't send a warehouse of food to last him a year. He didn't give Elijah a stockpile so he could feel secure. He sent just enough for this meal. And then just enough for that meal. Elijah had to trust God twice a day, every single day. He couldn't rely on yesterday's bread, and he couldn't hoard tomorrow's meat. He was living in a terrifying, beautiful rhythm of total dependence. But there is a harder part to this story. A part that I know resonates deeply with the fear you are feeling tonight. Elijah's survival depended on the water from the brook. It was his lifeline. But because there was no rain in the land, the brook began to change. Imagine watching that stream of water. Day by day, the water level gets a little lower. The rushing sound turns into a gentle babble. Then the babble turns into a trickle. Then the trickle turns into a few stagnant pools among the rocks. Elijah sat there and watched his only source of security disappear right in front of his eyes. Can you feel the knot in his stomach? It is the same knot you feel when you look at your savings account dwindling. It is the same panic you feel as the weeks of your severance package tick away. God, he must have thought. You sent me here. You told me I would be safe. Why is the water drying up? Have you forgotten me? Did I do something wrong? Am I going to die of thirst in this lonely place? He watched the brook die. The stones became dry and white in the sun. Silence fell over the ravine. The resource was gone. The job was over. The stability had evaporated. If you were Elijah, sitting by that dry riverbed, you would be terrified. You would think it was the end. But here is the secret that the text whispers to us across the centuries. The drying of the brook was not a sign of God's abandonment. It was a sign of God's movement. It was the signal that one season was ending and a new one was beginning. God wasn't letting the brook dry up to kill Elijah. He allowed it to dry up to move Elijah. If the water had kept flowing, Elijah would have stayed in that ravine forever, hiding in isolation. But God had something else for him. He had a widow in Zarephath to meet. He had a miracle of oil and flour to perform. He had a destiny that was bigger than just surviving by a creek. The drying brook was actually an invitation to walk. It was the gentle nudge of the shepherd saying, "This pasture is finished, my child, but I have another one prepared." Tonight, you are staring at your own drying brook. The company is struggling. The industry is changing. The job offer hasn't come, and you are terrified because you think the dry ground means death. But look at Elijah. He didn't die. God's provision didn't stop just because the method of provision changed. The ravens stopped coming. The water stopped flowing. But God remained. He simply shifted the supply line. You are seeing the end of the resource, but God is seeing the beginning of the journey. You are seeing a layoff. God is seeing a release. You are seeing rejection. God is seeing redirection. It feels like a disaster, I know. Just like staring at dry rocks felt like a disaster to a thirsty man. But the God of Elijah is your God tonight. He is the God who commands the unclean birds to feed you. He is the God who can bring water from a rock. He is the God who closes one door not to lock you out, but to guide you down the hallway to the door He has actually opened for you. Let yourself sit in that dusty ravine for just a moment longer. Feel the fear of the drying water, but then look up. Look past the dry rocks and see the hand of God extending toward you, ready to lead you to Zarephath, ready to lead you to the next place of provision. You are not abandoned. You are just being moved. So, what does the dry brook whisper to you tonight? It whispers a message that is hard to hear when you're panicking. But it is the medicine your soul needs. The message is this: your security was never in the brook. Your security was always in the one who sent the water. You look at your career, your title, your monthly deposit, and you think, "This is my life. This is what keeps me safe." And when those things start to shake, you feel like the ground is dissolving. But God is whispering to you tonight, through the silence of this room. "My child," He says, "I am not taking away your life. I am only taking away the illusion that you can live without me." It feels like a demotion, I know. It feels like a setback. But in the economy of heaven, what looks like a setback is often a setup for a completely new season of dependence and intimacy. I want to give you an image to hold on to when the fear strikes tomorrow morning. Imagine a potted plant sitting on a windowsill. It has been there for years. Its roots are comfortable. It knows the shape of the pot perfectly. But the plant has grown too big for that small container. The roots are cramping. There is no more room to expand. To the plant, that pot feels like safety. It feels like home. But the gardener sees something different. He sees that the plant is becoming root-bound. He sees that if it stays there, it will stop growing. It will slowly wither. So, one day, the gardener's large, gentle hands reach down. He turns the pot over. He taps the bottom. And suddenly, crack, the pot falls away. The plant is suddenly exposed. Its sensitive roots are hanging in the open air. The soil is falling off. If that plant could feel emotions, it would be screaming in terror. "What are you doing?" it would cry. "You are destroying my home. I am naked. I am vulnerable. I am going to die." That is exactly how you feel right now. The pot of your job, your routine, your perceived stability has been broken. You feel the cold air on your roots. You feel the terrifying sensation of being uprooted and held in midair. You think this is the end. But you are missing the most important part of the picture. You are not falling through empty space. You are being held in the gardener's hands. He did not break the pot to kill you. He broke it to replant you. He is walking you over to a much larger plot of soil, a place with deeper earth, a place with more sunlight, a place where your roots can stretch out further than you ever imagined possible. The discomfort you are feeling, the anxiety, the uncertainty, the exposure is not the feeling of death. It is the feeling of transition. It is the feeling of being carried from one glory to another. You just can't see the new garden yet. All you can feel is the loss of the old pot. But grace is whispering, trust the hands that are holding you. Trust the gardener's vision, even when you cannot see the destination. He knows exactly where you thrive. He knows the soil composition you need. He knows the nutrients your soul is starving for. Nutrients that maybe, just maybe, were not available in that old job you are gripping so tightly. Is it possible that God loves you too much to let you stay in a small pot? Is it possible that this shaking is actually an act of fierce, aggressive mercy? He refuses to let you settle for a false sense of security. He wants you to have the real thing. He wants you to be rooted in Him, not in a corporation. He wants you to be grounded in His promises, not in a pension plan. So tonight, as you lie there, try to shift your focus from the exposed roots to the holding hands. You don't have to know where you are going yet. You just have to know who is carrying you. The air is cold, yes. The future is foggy, yes. But the hands are warm. And they are scarred. They are the hands of a Savior who knows what it is like to lose everything. He lost his home. He lost his reputation. He lost his clothes. He lost his life. He went into the ultimate darkness of the grave so that he could come out and plant a garden of resurrection for you. He knows the way through the dark. He is not guessing. He is not hoping it works out. He is the way. So let your heart soften. Let the bitterness of the why me melt into the quiet trust of you have me. You are being replanted. Beloved, it hurts. But spring is coming. And the bloom that will come from this new soil will be more beautiful than anything that could have grown in that old, small pot. Receive that whisper. Let it settle deep into your spirit. You are not being discarded. You are being repositioned for growth. We have listened to the truth. We have seen the picture of the replanting. Now, it is time to do something with the pain that is still lingering in your muscles. Knowledge is good, but surrender is better. Surrender is where the theology moves from your head down into your aching shoulders. I want to invite you into a visualization with me. You don't have to force it. Just let the images float into your mind like a gentle dream. I want you to imagine that you are walking along a quiet path at twilight. The air is cool and still. The sky is a deep, velvety indigo, dusted with the first few stars. But you are walking slowly. Your steps are heavy. You are hunched over. Because on your back, you are carrying a massive, battered rucksack. This is not just a hiking bag. It is the container for everything you have been worrying about tonight. It is incredibly heavy. The straps are digging into your skin, cutting off the circulation. Your back is straining under the load. Let's look at what is inside this bag. There is a heavy stone called the mortgage. There is a jagged rock called the fear of being useless. There is a stack of heavy files labeled My Career Plan. There is a bundle of worry called My Children's Future. And buried deep at the bottom, the heaviest item of all, the lead weight of control. You have been carrying this bag for so long that you don't even remember what it feels like to stand up straight. You think it is your job to carry it? You think, if I put this down, everything will fall apart. If I don't carry the worry, who will? But look down the path. Ahead of you, there is a soft, golden light spilling onto the trail. Standing in that light is a figure. He is waiting for you. He is not tapping his foot. He is not checking his watch. He is simply standing there with arms that are open and unburdened. It is Jesus, but not a distant religious icon. This is the friend who knows you, the one who has walked this dusty road before you. Walk toward him. Feel the gravel crunching under your feet. Feel the exhaustion in your legs. You are so tired of carrying this. You are so tired of figuring it out. Now, you are standing right in front of him. He looks at you with eyes that are like deep pools of rest. He doesn't ask you to fix the bag. He doesn't ask you to organize the items inside. He simply whispers, "Give it to me. It is too heavy for you, child. It was never meant for your frame." I want you to physically feel this happening in your bed right now. Imagine reaching up to the straps on your shoulders. They are tight. They are dug in, but you hook your thumbs under them. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, push the straps off your shoulders. Feel them slide down your arms. Feel the heavy weight slipping off your back. Let gravity take it. Thud. Hear the sound of that heavy bag hitting the ground at Jesus' feet. It lands in the dust with a heavy, final sound. And immediately, look at your body. Your spine straightens. Your shoulders, which have been pulled up to your ears for months, finally drop down. Your chest expands. You can take a full breath for the first time in forever. The air rushes into your lungs, filling the space where the anxiety used to be. You feel light, almost weightless. You might feel a phantom sensation, as if you should still be carrying it. You might instinctively reach down to pick it back up. Wait. You think, I need to worry about the severance package. I need to worry about the email. But look at Jesus. He has already bent down. He has picked up the bag with one hand. He lifts it as if it weighs nothing at all. What was crushing you is like a feather to him. He swings it over his shoulder. He looks at you and smiles. "I've got this," he says. "I will carry the mortgage. I will carry the reputation. I will carry the job search. I will carry the timeline. You just walk with me. You just hold my hand. Can you trust him with the bag? Can you leave it there in the dirt? It is the hardest thing you will ever do. To look at your problems and say, these are no longer mine to solve. They are his to redeem. But oh, the freedom. Feel the blood returning to your arms. Feel the tingling sensation of release running down your spine. You are no longer the pack mule of your family. You are the beloved child walking in the garden in the cool of the day. You don't have to be the general manager of the universe tonight. You have resigned from that position, and you have accepted a new position, the one who rests. Let the image of that bag on the ground fade from your mind. It is gone. He has taken it away. It is not your problem tonight. If the worry tries to come back in the morning, visualize this moment again. See yourself handing it back to him. Now here, Lord, you take this. I am not strong enough. And hear him say, I know. That is why I am here. Enjoy this lightness. Float in it. This is the feeling of grace. Grace is not just a theological concept. Grace is the physical sensation of a burden being lifted by someone stronger than you. Rest in that weightlessness. Now that the heavy bag is on the ground, notice what is left behind. There is a strange sensation in your body, isn't there? For so long, you have been stuffed full of worry. Your mind was crowded with scenarios. Your chest was packed tight with tension. Now that we have removed those heavy stones, there is a sudden, vast emptiness inside you. Sometimes, this emptiness can feel unsettled. We are so used to the noise of anxiety that silence feels foreign. We are so used to the pressure of hustling that rest feels like laziness. But this empty space is not a void to be feared. It is a sanctuary waiting to be furnished. Nature abhors a vacuum, and so does the spirit. If we do not fill this space with truth, the fear will try to rush back in. So, let us fill it now. Purposefully, gently. I want you to imagine a warm, golden substance, like warm honey or liquid sunlight. This is the shalom of God, the peace that is not just the absence of war, but the presence of wholeness. Imagine this warmth beginning to pour into the top of your head. It moves slowly, like thick oil, soothing everything it touches. It flows down over your forehead, smoothing out the lines of concern about the future. It fills your mind, not with answers, but with a quiet assurance. It whispers, I am here. I am here. I am here. Feel it flowing down into your neck and shoulders, into that space where you carried the backpack. The warmth penetrates deep into the muscles, untying the knots of stress. It flows into your chest cavity, filling the space around your heart. Where there was once a frantic pounding, there is now a steady, rhythmic beat. Thump, 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 like a calm drummer setting a slow pace for your soul. It flows down into your stomach, that place where the layoff sickness lives. The acid of anxiety is washed away by this river of peace. The churning stops. You are being filled up from the inside out with the very breath of God. The Apostle Paul used a specific word in Philippians when he talked about peace. He said the peace of God will guard your hearts and minds. That word guard is a military term. It paints the picture of a sentry, a soldier standing watch at the gate of a city. I want you to see this image tonight. Because you have stepped out of the role of general manager, God has stationed his peace at the door of your mind. Imagine a tall, strong sentry standing at the doorway of your thoughts. He is clad in the armor of heaven. He is holding a shield. Outside the gate, the wolves of what if are still prowling. The worries about the bank account are still circling. The rumors of layoffs are still whispering in the wind. But they cannot get in. The sentry stops them. Halt, he says. You have no authority here tonight. This child is under the protection of the Most High. You cannot touch his sleep. You cannot touch her dreams. You don't have to be the watchman anymore. You have been trying to stay awake to guard your own life. You have been staring at the ceiling, thinking that if you worry hard enough, you can prevent the bad things from happening. But that is not your job. Your job is to sleep. The peace of God is on duty. He does not slumber. He does not sleep. He is watching over your career. He is watching over your reputation. He is watching over your bank account. You can take your hand off the door handle, lock it and walk away. Turn your back on the fear and walk deeper into the warmth of the fortress. Feel how safe it is in here. The walls of this fortress are made of salvation. The roof is made of grace. The floor is made of faithfulness. No economic crash can break these walls. No corporate decision can blow the roof off this house. You are insulated. You are cocooned. Let that golden warmth fill you all the way down to your toes. Let it weigh you down into the mattress. You are heavy with peace. You are saturated with safety. The emptiness, where the fear used to be, is now overflowing with a presence that is sweeter than life itself. It is well with your soul, not because the storm has stopped, but because the fortress is strong. Breathe in the warmth. Breathe out the cold. You are full. You are whole. We are almost at the shores of sleep now. The burden is on the ground. The sentry is at the door. The fortress is secure. But before you close your eyes completely, I need to whisper one last thing to your spirit. I need to tell you who you really are. Because tomorrow morning, the world is going to try to tell you who you are all over again. The world will try to hand you a name tag. It will try to label you unemployed, or at risk, or manager, or failure, or success. The world loves to stick labels on us, like price tags on a product in a store. It tells us our value fluctuates based on the market. It tells us we are only worth what we can produce. But tonight, in this holy quiet, I want to strip those labels off of you. Imagine gentle hands peeling those sticky, scratching labels off your chest. Peeling off the anxiety of the job search. Peeling off the pride of the promotion. Peeling off the shame of the layoff. Underneath all of that, there is the real you. The eternal you. And God wants to sing a song of identity over you tonight. Listen closely. This is what He says about you. Regardless of your employment status, you are chosen. You were not hired on a temporary contract. You were chosen before the foundation of the world. There is no probationary period in the kingdom of heaven. You are not at will employment. You are at heart adoption. He looked at you, with all your flaws and all your fears, and He said, I want that one. I want him to be my son. I want her to be my daughter. And that decision is final. You are valuable. Your worth is not determined by your salary. It is not determined by the prestige of your company logo. You were bought with a price that is higher than all the gold in the world. You are a jewel in His crown. The economy may crash, but your value does not depreciate. You are a treasure that He would sell everything to possess. You are provided for. You are not a beggar. You are an heir. The King of the universe is your Father. Do you think a king would let his child go hungry? Do you think a king would let his child walk without shoes? He has resources you know nothing about. He has streams in the desert that are not on any map. You are not what you do. This is the most important one. You are not your job. If you never worked another day in your life, you would still be worthy of love. You are a human being, not a human doing. Your purpose is not just to work. Your purpose is to be loved by Him and to reflect that love. So, let these truths settle over you like a soft, warm quilt. Pull them up to your chin. Wrap yourself in the reality of your identity. When the enemy tries to whisper, "You are losing everything," you can whisper back, "I have everything, because I have Him." When the fear says, "You are a failure," you can say, "I am the beloved." You are safe. You are held. You are seen. You are known. The storm may rage outside, but inside this identity, there is a calm that cannot be disturbed. Let the words wash over you one last time. Beloved, chosen, kept, mine. That is who you are. And that is enough. That is more than enough. Now, let your body sink deeper into the mattress. The day is done. The fight is over. The work is finished. It is time to drift. It is time to trust. It is time to let go. We have arrived at the final threshold. The words have all been spoken. The burdens have been cast down. The fears have been named and disarmed. Now, there is nothing left to do. Absolutely nothing. The time for thinking is over. The time for planning is over. The time for worrying about tomorrow is over. Now is the time for the deep, healing silence of God. I want you to imagine that I am lowering the lights in this room. One by one, the lamps are fading. The world outside is disappearing. The office is gone. The emails are gone. The expectations are gone. It is just you, wrapped in the velvet darkness of God's presence. I am going to weave a blanket of peace over you now. Not a blanket of wool or cotton, but a blanket of promises. A spiritual covering that will seal your mind and heart as you sleep. Feel this covering settling over you. It covers your mind, protecting your dreams from the intrusion of stress. It covers your heart, keeping the rhythm slow and steady. It covers your spirit, anchoring you in the hope of Christ. Under this blanket, you are hidden. He will cover you with His feathers. He will shelter you with His wings. His faithful promises are your armor and protection. Psalm 91:4. Let those feathers cover you now. Soft, warm, protective. You are entering the secret place of the Most High. No bad news can reach you here. No rejection letter can find you here. You are completely inaccessible to the chaos of the world. You are locked in the embrace of the Father. Let us seal this night with a simple prayer. You do not need to speak it out loud. Just let your heart echo the words. Let this be your final act of surrender before the drift begins. Father, into your hands. I commit my spirit. I commit my career. I commit my family. I trust you with the ending of this chapter. And I trust you with the beginning of the next. I am too tired to hold it anymore. So I give it all to you. Watch over me while I sleep. Prepare the way for me while I rest. I am yours. Amen. Now, let the prayer fade into the silence. Let the silence become a physical weight. A good weight. Like a heavy, warm hand resting on your chest. It is time to drift. I want you to turn your attention to your eyelids. They feel so heavy. So wonderfully heavy. They are like soft curtains that have been drawn shut against the world. You could not open them if you tried. And you don't want to try. It feels so good to just keep them closed. Feel the softness of the pillow beneath your head. It is a cloud. It is a cradle. Let your head sink deeper into it. Let your neck relax completely. Let the back of your head release all the tension of the day. Imagine you are a small boat on a vast, calm lake. The storm is over. The wind has died down completely. The water is like glass, reflecting the starlight above. You are lying in the bottom of the boat, looking up at the endless expanse of stars. There is a gentle movement, a slow, rhythmic rocking and drifting, rocking and drifting. With every breath you take, the boat floats a little further from the shore, further away from the noise, further away from the demands, further away from the fear. You are drifting into the center of the lake, into the deep waters of God's love. It is so quiet here. The only sound is the gentle lap of the water against the wood, and the slow beat of your own heart. Breathing in, peace. Breathing out, the world. Breathing in, trust. Breathing out, control. You are floating, weightless, held by the water, held by the hand of God. There is no need to steer the boat. The current of His grace knows exactly where to take you. You can sleep now. The guardian is watching. The sentry is at the gate. The provider is already working on your tomorrow. Let your body sink down, 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 into the softness, into the dark, into the rest. Your breathing is slow and shallow. Your muscles are asleep. Your mind is quiet. You are safe in the hollow of His hand. Nothing can touch you here. Sleep now, beloved. You are safe. Good night, and God bless you.